All right. Okay. Well, I've been up to Maine. And when I think about it, you don't drive to Maine, you don't fly to Maine, you go up to Maine. So my cousin says, "You coming up to Maine?" And then when you leave, you go down to the south there again. You know, I think you're beginning to talk like a southerner.
We're working on it. Be sure to say y'all.
So I was thinking when I go up to Maine, it's a little different. Culture's a little different there. The language is a little different. And I have a whole bunch of cousins in Burnham, Maine. As my mother used to say, there's a Brayley behind every bush. So we had the Brayleys who were Welsh miners who became farmers. And then, of course, there were the Frawleys. And I've told a lot of those Irish jokes, so I'm going to concentrate on the Brayleys. And my uncle, Joe Brayley, was out just driving out of his driveway when this guy pulls up. He's got a great big huge Cadillac and he's got big steer horns on it, and the license plate says Texas. So he waves to him and says, "Can I stop you for a minute?" And Joe says, sure, okay. And he says, "Well, you all just doing a lot of farming up here, and I want to know what's it like here in Maine compared to Texas." So they start talking, and he says, "How many acres do you have?" And Joe says, "Well, I got 140. He says, "How many of you have?" And he says, "Well," he says, "I can get in my car and start driving, and I don't get to the end of my land to the end of the day." And Uncle Joe says, "Well, by God, that's awful. I've had some cars like that." Then there's speech. And as I started thinking of these Maine things, I started thinking of the speech, the up to Maine, and then you go up to camp, and you go up to Aroostook County. So there's a lot of up-tos in Maine. And then there's also a lot of, I go to see my cousin, and he said, "Oh, God, I'm right out straight. Oh, God, I'm out straight." And I said, "Well, what's the matter?" And he said, "Well, I got to go to Walmart, and I got to call Lois, and I'm just all out straight all the time. Out straight. Everybody in Maine's out straight." I guess they're telling me they're busy.
Oh, is that what it means? Up straight.
Out straight. I'm right out straight. I can't do another thing. And so, let's see, I was trying to think of some other figures of Maine's speech besides being out straight. One of them is, you know, in Maine they'll say, and down here people say, "Oh, bless her little soul."
Or bless her heart.
Bless her little heart. Well, up in Maine, she said, "I'm going to duke that bitch." Nobody hits anybody in Maine. They duke them. They knock their teeth out.
Oh.
They do anything but hit. Nobody hits anybody. That's like nobody throws things. So my cousin's son said, "Ma, Willie chucked a rock at me." And she said, "What do you mean he chucked a rock at you?" And he said, "Well, I chucked one back at him." So nobody throws rocks in Maine, they chuck them. Chuck them. I'm going to chuck a rock. Then when my kids were little, this is a long time ago, I was at my cousin's, and she said, she hadn't seen my children. She said, my daughter Katie was very beautiful. She said, "Oh, she's so beautiful. And that little fellow's, well, he's cute." And I said, "It's not a little fellow, it's a little girl. Her name's Ann." And she said, "Well, ain't she cunning?" She's really cunning. I don't know if everybody...
Like cunning?
Cunning. Well, it's cunning like... Yeah, it's like...
a fox.
What?
Like a fox.
Yeah, well, no,
Yeah,
cunning
like
meaning...
homely or...
meaning good looking, attractive,
Oh, good.
sweet and cute. Sweet and cute. Cunning. Oh my God, ain't she cunning?
Ah. Wow.
Yeah.
These are Maine
Maintenance.
One more, Pam.
One more. Oh, let me think of one more. Oh, and the other one is tain't likely.
Tain't,
Tain't likely.
it tain't likely.
It tain't likely, meaning it probably isn't going to happen. It won't happen. It's likely that it won't happen, but it's tain't likely.
But what- that's-
How about the one that says you can't get there from here?
Oh, that was a very old one. That's a very old one. Old farmers asked for directions. He says, how do you get to Clinton? He says, well, let's see, you go down the Burnham. No, that isn't right. No, you go over to the Fairfield Road. No, that isn't right. And then he says, well, you can't get there from here.
This is by Jim Reeves. This,
Oh, yeah.
One of my Mary Bobbitt's favorite songwriters. Sometimes they ask me if I'm really happy now. I say sure, I never loved her anyhow. But inside I long for you and the way it used to be. I look around and there's a heartache following me. I always say I'm really glad you're gone. I even act like I never cared at all. But your memory lingers on, and I'm never really free. I look around and there's a heartache following me. I pondering and everything that tied me to the past. I say I never loved her, never meant for it to last. But I know it's just a game, and the loser's always me. I look around and there's a heartache following me. Some people ask me if I'm really happy now. I say sure, I never loved her anyhow. But inside I long for you in the way it used to be. I look around, and there's a heartache following me. I look around and there's a heartache following me. I look around and there's a heartache following me.
Yeah, Bob, I like that. I think he would play it, have it played for Vera.
While I was in Bangalore in May, Dr. Ghani told me the following experience of his regarding Baba, which is worth putting down. Ghani returned suddenly to Rahuri from Bombay one night, and at that time Baba was for a few hours in strict seclusion. Rao Sahib had been put on door duty to stop anyone going near Baba's hut. But just when Ghani came back, Rao Sahib went off to empty his bladder, and in walked Ghani into Baba's hut, knowing nothing of Baba's seclusion, and being stopped by no one. On seeing Ghani, Baba looked dreadful, trembled all over, and looked more ghastly than Ghani had ever seen him look before. After about a minute or two of this trembling and terrible appearance, Baba asked Ghani why he had come in anger and whether anyone had stopped him. Ghani explained, and Baba was quieter. Baba then explained that when Ghani interrupted him, Baba took the entire shock of the interruption in the use of his powers on himself, producing this terrible trembling. Otherwise, Ghani would have been killed outright by it. So the moral is not to disturb the masters when they're doing special spiritual work in private.
I just want to ask everybody, when Sally and I were in India in 1989, there was, I believe he was a lover of Baba, and he actually walked into a room that he wasn't supposed to, and Baba was in a state, and he grabbed, and when Baba's in that state from that story, or any of the masters, you can actually die instantly. And so this particular man had walked in, and Baba grabbed his arm, his muscle, and squeezed it. And that was back, I'm guessing, in the 60s or 50s, I'm not quite sure. And I was wondering if anybody ever heard this story, because when we met the man and he was giving us a group a little tour.
Wasn't that Krishna?
Who was that?
With Night Watchman?
Yes,
Maybe that's who it
Yeah,
was.
'cause I heard him tell that story.
And so he grabbed his muscle arm, and from that point on, his muscle was dead.
He had a big lump
But he
where
said he
Baba
could have
tweaked.
died. He said, Bob
Right,
said
same thing, he could have died.
David
Yeah.
makes shit up.
I think most everybody here probably heard the people tell about the Sahavas last fall.
Uh-huh,
I think everybody was here probably.
yes.
So they had another Sahavas at the same place in April. And I had a big birthday coming, so I decided it was a great place to go to celebrate my big birthday, and it turned out it really was, because it was just as wonderful as I remembered it. So I got to stay in the same room that I was in. It has incredible view. You feel like you're in a movie. And we had a very interesting group the second time. Amr came from India, and there was another young woman from India who sang beautifully. And I think we mentioned last time that we had gone down to a little church in the town where we were having the Sahavas, that Valeria's family had rebuilt after it was derelict, had become a ruin. That has wonderful acoustics, so this young lady sang for us in the church the way Dave Brown had done the year before. It was so beautiful, really. She had a lovely voice, and she sang Begin to Begin for one song, and a beautiful song called The Rose. I think you probably know that one. And Nashawan and his wife were there. That was nice to have them too. And a couple from Australia. So it was a real international group. Some people from Asheville, and a chiropractor from New Jersey came, and it was a totally different group this time. So the dynamics were a little bit different, but it was basically the same kind of program that Valeria would talk to us about things in Italy, and also she took us on a nice tour of the little town and showed us around. It's a beautiful little town called San Gemini. I don't know whether we had pictures last time, but I'm going to send these around again. This is the church that her family is connected with, where that has the wonderful acoustics. I'll have people in the back here going to see this. And this is the view from my room. You can see why I wanted to go back again. I think I brought the wrong batch of pictures. But some of these are we took a day trip to Assisi and went to visit the cave where Baba had spent time back in, I think it was the 30s, the cave that St. Francis had meditated in before that. And some of these pictures are showing on the way down to the cave. This is Leica, I think, the year before, but I didn't bring the pictures from this year. got a little confused at the last minute. This is Anne looking happy. I love being in Italy.
Mhm.
So while we were in Assisi, we visited several other churches. This basilica, the big basilica where St. Francis's body is now interred. And this is a brochure showing it, but I just wanted to show you the spot where his body is actually, his remains are. And it's the feeling, it's hard to describe the feeling in that little, I guess it's a very small area. They have some chairs sitting in front of it. But we spent a lot of time just sitting there by that spot where his remains are. And a lot of people would come in and go around and go through, but you could sit as long as you wanted. This is shows a picture, and it's tells you a little bit about it if you want to read that. My hearing aids just made a noise. They're both gone. So if you talk to me, I won't be able to hear you. It makes a noise like a train, and I never know when they're going to do that because I have to recharge them. So this is a map of Assisi, which shows the big basilica is at one end, and the whole town it's like you go from the bottom. It's a hill all the way up to the top. It's maybe, what do we say, 2 miles maybe? It's walkable in about, if you're going down, probably 20 minutes. Going up, probably take me about 45 or an hour. But you can also get a cab if you don't want to walk back up the hill. But most people walk around the town. There's a lot of different churches to visit, and the Hermitage where Baba's cave is out of the city a little bit. You have to take a cab to get there. That's a huge, big area with lots of acreage, and the trails are like in deep woods. It's a beautiful place to visit. The feeling there is very much like the center. You're in the woods. It's a wonderful feeling. So if you'd like to look at this map, I know nobody in the back there to see these things. So one of the other churches that we visited was called San Damiano, and this is where what they call the Poor Clares. Saint Clare was a young woman who became a saint in her own right. She followed St. Francis' example and was very close to St. Francis. And when he was sick, he came here to visit them, and they took care of him. And I wanted to share with you something called the Canticle of the Creatures. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but St. Francis wrote this poem when he was here visiting the St. Clare's, and somebody illustrated it. So I want to show you the illustration. This tells a little about San Damiano. This is called the Canticle of the Creatures, and it's written by St. Francis. And it's illustrated by, I can't find his name right now, but the illustrations are quite beautiful. It starts out, Most High, all-powerful, all-good Lord, all praise is yours, all glory, all honor, and all blessing. To you alone, Most High, do they belong, and no mortal lips are worthy to pronounce your name. All praise be yours, my Lord, through all that you have made, and first, my Lord, brother, Son, who brings the day, and light you give to us through him. How beautiful is he, how radiant in all his splendor. Of you, Most High, he bears the likeness. And this is the picture of that. All praise be yours, my Lord, through sister moon and stars. In the heavens you have made them, bright and precious and fair. All praise be yours, my Lord, through brothers wind and air, and fair and stormy all the weather's moods, by which you cherish all that you have made. All praise be yours, my Lord, through sister water, so useful, lowly, precious, and pure. All praise be yours, my Lord, through brother fire, through whom you brighten up the night. How beautiful is he, how playful, full of power and strength. All praise be yours, my Lord, through Sister Earth, our Mother, who feeds us in her sovereignty and produces various fruits with colored flowers and herbs. Maybe you guys would like to see, but put it on here first. All praise be yours, my Lord, through those who grant pardon for love of you. Happy through those who endure sickness and trial. Happy are those who endure in peace by you, Most High, they will be crowned. All praise be yours, my Lord, through Sister Death, from whom no one among the living can escape. Woe to those who die in mortal sin. Happy those she finds doing your will. The second death can do no harm to them. Praise and bless my Lord, and give him thanks, and serve him with great humility. He wrote that just before he passed on, and it's very well known in Italy. I had never seen it before. I don't know any of you had you heard about it? The canticle. It's really quite beautiful, and I think the illustrations are very nice. So I think that's all I was going to share tonight, but next time I go, I'll come back and have more to share. I can't wait to go back again. I want to go and live there.
Were there Sahavas, like events or things focused for everybody together?
For the Sahavas itself? They did a lot of sharing, personal sharing. People were asked to share how Baba in their lives, and there's people seem to like to do that. That's mainly the focus of what went on. Amrit cooked us a wonderful Indian dinner one night. That was nice, and she actually was showing us how to do it. We were on the kitchen watching her cook it. She had done a lot of preparation beforehand, but that was fun. We enjoyed that. And Valeria shared a lot of her personal stories of being in Italy with, at the cave, her experience in the cave. In fact, there's Nasharon's going to have something in the Glow, I think, next month or coming up about with her story with the cave. It's very special. Yeah. But I think the most, I just love being there with Valeria and the others that helped to make it so, do all the work there. It's really great. So I thought since I have the spotlight, I might as well end with a poem of mothers, if you don't mind.
I got a question. How was the general atmosphere there as far as people, was it like joyful? Was it meditative? Was
You
it
mean at the
somber?
Sahavas?
Yeah, where you went.
Mhm.
Yeah. What
I
was it
think
like?
people were very happy.
Really happy,
It
happy
seemed
feeling.
like it, yeah.
Okay.
We had, we had communal meals. The meals were prepared, and we all sat at a big table, and it seemed like every meal was like a celebration. I mean, we were there for Easter, so that was really special. And
Right.
She had candles on the tables and flowers. It was everything. It all seemed very special. Every gathering was like a special occasion. It seemed like. But some people I ran into a couple people I happened to notice, and they were sitting together meditating. So people, it's the kind of Sahavas where people kind of do what they feel like they want, what they're drawn to do, and there's so many beautiful places to sit, and a garden out in the back, and swimming pools. It's just a beautiful setting, really nice. And going to the cave, that whole experience, I think that was a focus of everybody's, for the trip for everybody, I think. Does anybody else have questions about this?
Yeah, I'm wondering how what did you do on Easter?
We didn't go to church, but I think that's the day that Valeria took us around the town and showed us different spots that her family was connected with, and we just stopped in one little church. I think there were services going on all day in the town. You'd hear the bells ringing. In fact, the night before, the bells started the night before. But the big thing, and it seemed like from what people told us, the big celebrations in Italy for Easter were on Good Friday. There were a lot of processions. We didn't get there till the day after Good Friday, Saturday. So apparently there were a lot of processions through the town, and the people in Assisi said there was a lot going on, things going on all day long. So on Easter seemed kind of quiet where we were. I think people were inside church or in their homes. But I think Good Friday seemed to be the day when everybody was out and going, on the streets. This is called Adoration. This is a poem by Josephine Ross. Beauty hath woven for him her fairest mantle. Love hath entwined in his hair sweet flowers of spring. Light hath bowed at his feet in adoration. Filled with humility, angels have ceased to sing. Clouds at dawn have blushed to crimson and rose, because he hath passed and honored them with a glance. Deep in the woods the flute of the hermit is stilled, and wondering nymphs have left their sylvan dance. And drawing about them robes of shimmering green, have stolen through forest glades where the ferns grow tall, to kneel at love's feet and willingly there to surrender, vowing henceforth and forever to follow love's call. Now through the depths of the forest the shadowy forms swiftly and silently glides, making never a sound, daintily treading over the springy mosses, stepping lightly as one on holy ground, and pausing a moment startled, proudly lifts an antlered head, and questioning sniffs the air, gazing with wide-set, gentle eyes that are filled with a dawning wonder that love could be so fair. Hushed is the wind, and trees have ceased to murmur. Even the voices of the brook is muted with awe, and the rising sun hath paused on the threshold of heaven to worship the Master, Creator, and Giver of law. Jai Baba.
I wrote this song about 2 weeks ago, and it's not my regular kind of music that I write. I don't know, it just kind of came to me. It's sort of an old-timey, bluegrassy, old-time religion type song. So, hope you like it. I was riding down the road one day, must have been the month of May. Had a funny feeling way down deep inside. So I turned on the radio. A voice said I was soon to go to a place that I once left way behind. So I turned up the sound to hear it clear. The voice said we were so very near to a time that we will find the one who never dies, the one who's come for everybody here. I'm gonna fill up my cup with his red wine. Gonna fill up my cup, it's so sublime. Take me back to the way it was, and a feeling of more brotherly love. Take me back to a more loving time. So I drove on down the road, I was going home. Then I called my best friend on the telephone. I said, have you heard the news? It'll chase away the blues and keep you all from being so alone. So I turned up the sound to hear it clear. The voice said we were so very near to a time that we will find the one who never dies, the one who's come for everybody here. Gonna fill up my cup with his red wine. Gonna fill up my cup, it's so sublime. Take me back to the way it was, and a feeling of more brotherly love. Take me back to a more loving time. Take me back to the way it was, and a feeling of more brotherly love. Take me back to a more loving time.
Hey,
Hey, Bob.